Oral stage.
Could you...
Oh, sorry. Oral stage. Birth till 1 year old. The erogenous zone is the mouth, and the developmental.
Could you find a more commonly used synonym for erogenous, please?
The zone of pleasure is the mouth, and yeah, the developmental Okay. You want to write that down? Yeah.
Okay,
you can write that down.
No,
Is everyone done? Okay.
Wait, what's the organ of pleasure?
The mouth. Yeah, it's the mouth. They change that. Yeah. It's oral stage. 0 to 1. And mouth.
So just write down the key words, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kofi.
Yeah. During the stage, the main.
What was it, the mouth?
Yeah, the mouth.
Sorry.
It's okay. Everyone writes at different speeds. It's okay. Alright.
Double dribble 100% check. Sorry.
You guys be quiet.
Guys, let's try and listen to them because then you've got such a
I didn't get.
Okay. Alright. During the oral stage, the place of pleasure is the mouth. The developmental task is
So the mouth.
breastfeeding. Yeah, the mouth.
Emma.
Okay, we got that. It's the mouth. Yeah, the developmental task is breastfeeding, and if they don't satisfy the breastfeeding needs, or weaning, which is when they're being fed the food.
No comments.
Lee, you and your fantasy.
You can't take it. You can't wait a minute.
Alright.
It's just got to sit down. Guys, all of you listen!
Yeah, so the developmental task is weaning and breastfeeding.
Did you do all of this last lesson?
Yeah.
How? Where did you
Yo, let me do the presentation and ask questions afterwards. Just continue, finish, do it.
Okay, so what was I? Yeah, breastfeeding and weaning. Yeah, the child must become less dependent upon their caretaker.
You look great on camera, carry on.
Less dependent upon their caretaker or mother, as this is, fixation can occur at this stage, and according to Freud, he believed that when the child got older, they would have issues with dependency or aggression. They may also smoke or drink or do nail biting.
So you don't drink
They do. You guys will get that down.
I'll send it to everyone.
Just send it to everyone.
Alright.
Can you leave that for a second?
Okay.
Well, not literally.
Just tell us when you finished.
So are you alternating presenters or?
So tomorrow, yeah? You're going to sit there till tomorrow?
Think, if need be.
I'm not going to finish.
I don't think need be.
This one's the biggest
Okay. Next stage is anal stage. The age range is 1 to 3 years, and the zone of pleasure is the bowel and bladder control. Okay.
So the anus.
It's the anus, yes, the anus.
I didn't say move. No, I'm just
the developmental task is potty training, and if the task is not achieved, they can become fixated, and when they become fixated, they can become very tidy or very untidy. Okay. There are 2 personalities that can arise from fixation. Anal expulsive personality, which is when parents are too lenient on the potty training, and the child begins to have pleasure from letting it go, right? Releasing stuff. They can become excessively sloppy or disorganized or reckless, careless or defiant. And the other personality they can get is anal retentive personality, which is when the parents give too much pressure on the child to whilst potty training, and the child can experience anxiety over bowel movement and gain pleasure with holding their poo and etc. The child can become obsessively clean, orderly, careful, stingy, passive, or aggressive. Do you want to get that down? Anal expulsive personality and anal retentive personality.
Retentive is the one that's
Where
tidy.
they like to keep it in.
So they're tidy.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
said that they no. The anal expulsive. Yes, they're more tidy. Sorry, anal retentive.
And then explosive is the messy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you need to write that down? You guys
Drop
okay?
little points.
You guys okay?
We got this.
Yeah, just move
Okay,
on because we
okay.
kind of know this stuff already.
Alright. There. Phallic.
Oh, what's he doing?
Age range is 3 to 6 years, and the genital pleasures the genitals. Developmental task is Oedipus complex, which is based on the Greek story.
For those of us that are not familiar with the story of Oedipus, could you explain it?
Well, if I remember correctly, which I might not,
please? One can only hope.
the guy killed his father, and then he did kill his father. Yeah, he killed his father, and then he like took his mum, and they did stuff. I think. Yeah. Incest.
So it's like
More or less.
Alright, it's when boys feel competition with their father over their mother. The boys also believe that their penis will be castrated. Girls also have a similar thing, but theirs is the Electra complex, which they begin to feel penis envy as they think their mom has chopped off their penis. If this stage isn't completed, they could become reckless or overly careful. The latent period.
latency stage.
Okay. Latency stage. 60 puberty. The place of pleasure is sexual feelings.
Wait.
She did.
Wait, what age is this one?
6 to puberty, 6 to 16.
During this place,
What's this? No.
the libido interests are suppressed. The development of superego and ego contribute to this period of calm. The stage begins around the time that children enter school and become more concerned with peer relationships, hobbies, and other interests. It's time of exploration, in which sexual energy is present, but it's also directed in other areas such as intellectual pursuits and social interactions. Genital is puberty to death.
Yes, Emma.
What was the organ of pleasure for that? Because you can go too fast.
Yeah, you can explain that. Yeah.
Yes, just a
No,
general.
yeah.
It doesn't. It has like a
I think it
specific.
includes like sexual hormones as well. And stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
Just like so what should I write?
No, it's
No,
right. You
that's-
have to read biological stuff to know that bit. Because that's the bit that crosses over.
So don't write anything
Because
basically.
it's hormones as well.
Just write this new organ.
But I've already written that there's an organ of pleasure. What did you write on the screen?
Just wait, the organ of pleasure is not applicable for this stage.
Yeah.
If you want to put the organ of pleasure
Genital puberty to death. There's it's maturing sexual interests. Yeah.
Emma's writing that.
No.
You did not make this.
Well, go on.
At this stage of development, the individual develops.
Last stage.
Okay, this is the last stage. Individual develops strong sense of interest in the opposite sex. Which starts with puberty and continues. Fixation at this stage may prevent an individual to develop sexual interest in the opposite sex, or may lead to them having problems as an adult in matters of sexual relationships.
If the stage
Yeah.
between the ages of 12 and 18 is successful, an adult should achieve successful sexual maturity. So if it's not successful, then you may have problems. But if it is successful, then yeah, really good.
Alright,
What kind of problems would
I feel
you...
bad for you,
So,
son.
for example, you might not be comfortable enough whilst you're about to have like any sexual encounters with someone. You might not be comfortable because of not being fully developed or having a successful stage.
Okay.
Alright,
Thank you very much.
The other half of the group will take you guys through personality stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's
More
more.
detail. Yeah.
James, you can't have your back turned to the camera.
Well done, Sasha.
Thank you, Lee.
It's so smart today as well.
Yeah, you look all nice and suited. Let the camera see.
I'm waiting down here until my moment.
Oh, Miss, can I eat my sandwich?
She was eating chicken nuggets earlier. Don't mind, just want to make causing disruption on egress.
I won't. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Which way does it open?
Okay, so we've got the stuff on Freud's theory of personality.
Yes.
That's a brilliant start.
Brilliant people down.
Okay.
Oh, I've got funny text.
Okay. Okay, so the personality theory was founded by Sigmund Freud in 1932. The theory discusses how we, as people, have three aspects of the mind. We call them it, I, and above I, better known as E, ego, and superego. He saw this as a structural model of the mind and found it to be better than previous topographical model of consciousness.
Okay, so the id represents basically the selfish desires that we have, like they touched on in their group. So basically, we're looking to satisfy ourselves and what we want instinctively from our conscious mind, and not really concerned about anyone else or what society would expect of us.
Okay, superego is basically the opposite of ego, and it's formed from experiences with those who hold authority, like parents and teachers and so on. It restricts the actions we wish to do, and instead makes us align with the rules and regulations that we have been set. It is a representation of moral and takes into account the emotions, beliefs, etc. of those around us. Like it also rewards us and punishes us, but instead with pride and guilt / shame, respectively.
Ego is the compromise between the superego and id that most people live their lives in. Anyway, in the ego, we look to satisfy ourselves while still complying with rules and expectations of society. It does this by making decisions as to what is and isn't acceptable and operates in the reality principle.
Well done, team.
Good, my party in net episode.
Sort you out for now.